Breathing in, I befriend my in-breath. And breathing out, I befriend my out-breath. Hello, in-breath. Hello, out-breath. Just do that. Wherever you are, at school or in a familiar or unfamiliar environment, first thing you can do is to just come back and check in with your breath. And suddenly, all of that anxiety and excitement or insecurity or nervousness will just calm down. Yeah? And you look calm, stable, and dignified. Isn't that amazing? Yeah? Just simply check in with the breath. And then breathing in, I befriend my body. Okay? Aware of my body. Check in with your posture. Do you have your back upright, open and relaxed, or are you slouching? Yeah? How you hold your body makes a big difference. That's a big impression you make. People look at you, the way you sit, the way you stand, the way you walk, they already have a perception about you. So if you want to make a good impression, hold your body upright, open, yeah? Let us enjoy 3 sounds of the bell together. Dear beloved teacher, dear beloved community, dear precious teens, I know you're here and I'm very happy. I recognize many of you who have come back year after year, or this is your second time, or this is your first time. And I was very impressed this morning when you went on a hike. The nunnery is just a little bit down there, and usually when we have hiking, if I don't go on the hike, I would sit outside the nunnery and I would hear all this ruckus, a lot of chattering, a lot of noise as the group of people passing by, and it went on and on. But this morning, I hardly heard you. Were you really quiet or something? I mean, it was like a lot quieter than I am used to. So I want to ask a few questions. Who amongst you would rather, when hiking this morning, rather than, staying home and sleeping in? Raise your hands if you rather when hiking this morning. Hi, raise, hi, hi. Okay. Yeah, so many of you. Okay, who would rather have slept in? Oh, so like half of you. Yeah, yeah. Who would rather be here or be in your room at home on your electronics right now? Raise your hands high. You can be honest. We can take it. All right, so there are some of you. Okay, so it's the third day. All right. Okay. Who have been enjoying making some new friends here? Raise your hands. Oh, many of you. Okay, friends person to person and not just friends online, right? Okay. All right. So I want to ask you on the backdrop, what have you noticed the last 2 days? What have you seen? What's on the backdrop? Anybody? Raise your hands. Yes, come. What do you see? Oh, there's a pretty red fox. All right. What else? Good. Kang, Karuna. Oh, so the image of the boy is from the book, The Little Prince, Le Petit Prince. Awesome. What else do you notice? Yes, Kang? Oh, some asteroids. Okay, good. You have been observant. Okay. Yes, Kang? Lots of stars. And what else? A red rose. Huh? The rose is from the Little Prince? Good. So how many of you have read Le Petit Prince, The Little Prince? So most of you, right? It's a great story, and I think it's good with this theme, be alive, be the miracle. So in summary, just in case some of you are not aware of the story, this little prince is from a different planet, right? And it was taking care of this little tiny planet, weeding and all, and one day a rose just came up. And the rose said to the little prince, I'm one and only in the whole universe, so take care of me. So the little prince worked very hard to take care, to protect it, put it under a globe, weed around, catch the caterpillar, keep it warm, all like that. But I guess the little prince felt that this rose was a little bit demanding and somewhat manipulative, so he was hurt. And he felt all alone there because his little planet, there was only him. So he decided to travel. He went to different asteroids and met different kinds of, merchants and scientists and all. And eventually he made it to the Earth and met a pilot who had just crashed his plane. Does that sound familiar to you? Yeah? So this little rose, what do you think that's symbolic of? This little rose that he left, and then, in the process, he learned to value this rose, right? Which one of you want to share a little bit? Yes, go. A toxic friend, okay? Could be a toxic friend. Somebody you care about, but that person hurts you, right? and makes you feel sad. Yes. To love and say it again. It's demanding? Okay. To love, but that love is very demanding, right? Okay, good. So, I hope that all of you will read this story, The Little Prince. And if you have read it and reread it, because I think this story is very deep. It's a relationship that we have. And the rose, that rose can be ourselves, actually, can be ourselves. How many of you, as you were growing up as a child, you felt, you were the only one, right? You got a lot of attention from your parents, like people doted on you. But then as you grew up a little more and you look around and you saw there was not just you, but there were thousands of you. You know what I mean? Like the prince eventually saw there was not just one rose. He went to a garden and saw there were 5,000 roses in that garden that looked exactly like his rose. And he said, oh, I feel so sad. I thought this rose was unique. I was the only person who had this only rose. And now there are so many of them. Then my rose is not very special. How many of you have felt that way? That you're just one among the million and you're not at all special? Yeah? Yeah. I felt that way. And especially if some of us who've grown up not being doted on, right? Not getting much attention. Like I did. I didn't get a whole lot of attention. I actually learned to take care of my brother since I was only 7 years old. My mother left me with grandma, and then when she brought me to Saigon, the big city, she was working all the time. So she left me home, taking care of my brother. So at the age of 7, I could go to the market not far away to do grocery shopping. Of course, I bought very simple things like lettuce, like some beef, and then I'll come home and I'll cut that to little cubes, sauteed, and ate with salad, because then I didn't have to cook much. Yeah? But I did that for my brother, who was about 4 years old, and I was 7, 8 years old. I did that, And then I helped him take a shower, and then I walked him to school. So I was a child of myself, but I learned to take care of my brother. And you know what? My brother was that special rose to me, because he was all I had. And I tended to him. I took care of him. I fed him. I taught him how to count from 1 to 40. And I carried him on my back. So he became that very special person in my life because I took care of him. You know what I mean? And like, you remember in the story, The Little Prince, what was the word when the little prince saw the fox? And the prince said, I'm very lonely. Play with me. And what did the fox say? Anybody who remembers the first thing the fox said? No? No, I cannot play with you. Why not? It's because you have to tame me. In French, it's apprivoiser. Apprivois-moi, apprivois-moi. Tame me. And the little prince said, what does it mean, right? To tame the fox. What does it mean? What does it mean for you to tame something? Anybody? Yes, go. To earn the trust. Wow, that's good, Dylan. Very good, Gang. To earn the trust, right? Anything else? Yeah? Yes. To make it your friend. Absolutely. You got it, the essence. So to earn the trust, to make it your friends, to take good care of it, right? So in the process of taming something, you are the tamer, like the little prince tamed the fox. But you know what? The fox also tamed the prince, the little prince, right? So they became friends. They earned the trust with each other. They took care of each other. And so for me, my brother, also in the process of taking care, tending to my brother, I also trained myself. So I tamed my brother, and he also tamed me. And we gained that trust that even now, my brother is already 50 years old. You know, we remain very close, very tight, because all these years we have been sticking to each other, taking good care of each other. See, so I hope that with your brothers and sisters, your siblings, you also, today, that's what we are going to learn. How to, tame ourselves. How to develop that trust, to be friend with ourselves, with each other, so that we can have really deep relationships, you see? And I will share that through the 5 mindfulness trainings, okay? This story about the little prince is very humanistic. He came from another planet, but he carries all the emotions of human beings, right? And we see that on this spectrum of, being humans, and on this side of being robots, AI. When you see the word AI nowadays, what do you think of? The first thing. ChatGPT, okay. What does it stand for? Okay, artificial intelligence. You are very, very informed, okay? And they call this humanoid robots. You know what are humanoid robots? Yes, go. Yes? Okay. Humanoid robots. Yes, go. Exactly. Robots that resemble humans. More and more, they look like human. Actually, they even make the skin that looks a lot like human, Not like metal looking like before. Actually looks like human skin. Have the shape of the humans, actually a little bit exaggerated. I saw some of those humanoid robots. The women, the female one, is ridiculous, right? You know what I'm talking about. It's awful. So, and then they look like humans, and then they talk like humans, right? And more their movements. They talk, and their hands like this, and they do their heads like this. More and more, humanoid robots are looking more and more like humans, going these directions. What about humans? Which direction are we going? Oh, yeah. What is your name, Kang? Huh? Global? Low. Lowell. I know, I recognize you. I'm so happy to see you. Okay, so humans as AI, humanoid robots look more and more like humans. Humans are looking more and more like robots, right? In which ways do you see that you are behaving, you are more and more robot-like? Wow, we rely on technology to do a lot of things that we can actually do by hands. Thank you, Kang. What else? Anything? Yes.
We spend more and more time online than interacting with real people.
We spend more and more time online than interacting with people, actual people. Anything else you see in yourself?
Our societies, they're built on like, the 9 to 5, the office jobs. It's like humans are working like as workers in a factory. They're living in their own life.
Yeah, we are working in factories 9 to 5, like robots. Yeah. Anything else you want to add? Yes. What is it, Kang? Like, how do you see yourself becoming more and more robot-like? We do a certain way. We do certain set of things in a certain time, certain way, so it's kind of rigid, right? Repetitive, rigid, just like machine-like. Anything else? What about your feelings? Yes, Kang? Losing empathy, connection to other people. Wow, you see that in yourself? Yeah? So we are becoming more what we call robotic humans. Yeah? And I have learned that as we go in that direction, becoming more and more dependent, on, technology and all, even if we become 99% robots, only 1% human. 1% human in us can still have things like feelings, right? Yeah? Can still have physical pain, mental pain. 1% human, can you still have loneliness? Who think you still have loneliness? Yeah, we still have loneliness, right? We can still have confusion. We can still have love, right? Desire for connection, for empathy, right? So in that way, as we become more and more robots, we neglect 99% of us or 50% human of us, however far advanced we are. But as that human part of us is neglected, yeah, is not cared for, that part of us will still cause us a lot of pain. And it's evident because nowadays, a lot of young people, children and teenagers suffer from depression, right? You see that in yourselves and friends? Anybody know somebody who's depressed? Yeah, right? Many of us, if not most of us. Anybody who knows somebody or yourself suffer from anxiety? Yeah? Yeah. What about social isolation? Yeah? Yeah. So that is because we are going in this direction more and more. And so when you come here and practice with us, these last few days, you don't have your electronic devices with you, right? Do you feel you're a little more human? Who feel you're more human? Many of you, right? You're more aware of your breath. You think robots breathe? They don't need. You're more aware of your body. You think robots need to be aware of their bodies? They don't need to be aware of their bodies, right? Have you been more aware of your feelings, your thoughts, here and there? Yeah? That is why we practice, so that we become more and more human. Yeah? And the AI, instead of it being artificial intelligence, because intelligence is about knowledge, right? About what's up here, knowledge. And it's artificial. It's up there, it's superficial. I mean, you can upload all the information in this robot and it'll spew out information and facts. But to actually have insights, that's only known so far. humans have insights, animals have insights, but not robots, okay? So as we practice mindfulness, like you have done the last few days, but more consistently, like our brothers and sisters and lay friends, you gain what we call as authentic insight. Okay? So instead of it being artificial intelligence, it's authentic insight. They're totally different. This is AI, artificial intelligence. This is authentic insight, okay? And that is what we hope for you, that you don't become robotic humans, but you actually become deeply human, to be truly fully alive, and to recognize the miracle, the rose in you and in each one of you, of your loved ones, people around you. Does that sound good? Yeah? Okay, so let us listen to one sound of the bell and be in touch with that human body that we have, the human breath that we have. Yeah? Really touch that and say, hello. I befriend my in-breath and out-breath. I befriend my body. Breathe and smile. They work really hard to get the robots to walk like humans, but they say it's the most difficult thing to get robots to walk like human and not so, mechanical looking, or to smile, or to have facial expressions, something that we take for granted, right? But robots, they can be so intelligent, but they cannot do the things that we do naturally like that. So the last few days you've learned about all sorts of things. Last night it was very fun to learn about beginning anew, right? And then yesterday to look at ourselves in the mirror. And so today I would like to share with you about the 5 mindfulness trainings. Who've heard of the 5 mindfulness trainings? Many of you who have taken one or all of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Okay, so some of you, okay. So these 5 trainings are concrete practices that help us to touch our humanness, to deepen our humanness, and to develop authentic insight, okay? And I think you have the text in your pamphlet. Do you have the text? Were you given a sheet that has the 5 mindfulness trainings on it? So we have that that you can read and you can take. I'll talk about that later, but I will go over some of them with you today. The first one is about reverence for life. And I read just a snippet of it. The first mindfulness training, reverence for life, aware of the suffering caused by the destruction of life. I am committed to cultivating the insight of interbeing and compassion, and learning ways to protect the lives of people, animals, plants, and minerals. Okay? So we learned a little bit about compassion the other day, to have the love and care for ourselves and from others. And then there's the word interbeing. And I have this bean that is a nice illustration of interbeing. It's a yin-yang bean, small like this. Half of it is black, half of it is white. This is a model, okay? And on the half black, there is a white dot. You see it? Yeah? Brother B made this for me. And on the white half, there's a black dot. I call this an interbean. It's an actual bean. You've seen this sign before, right? You can order online. You can actually plant, grow it. You can cook it and eat it. Yeah? An interbeing. But it's a very deep teaching about interbeing. In the black, there's the white. In the white, there's the black. Okay? Just like in you, at this age, many of us think, I'm totally, I have nothing to do with my siblings. I want to get out of the house, don't have anything to do with my parents. I want to be independent, to live my own life. How many of you think that way sometimes? That you just want to grow up, get out of the house, be on your own. Yeah? Yeah, many of us, we do think like that. But the insight of interbeing is saying that in this, there's that. Even if we move out of the house, even if we become 50 years old, in us, they're still our parents. Yeah? Their talents, their happiness, their sadness, their unresolved issues, their suffering, that is in them. And what's in them is also in us. Does it make sense to you? Yeah? In you, there's your parents, they're your ancestors. Everything that you have experienced directly or indirectly through others, they remain inside you. We cannot extricate that. We cannot just remove it completely out of us, right? And this is because that is. We are who we are, like I am who I am, because I had lost my father when I was born, my mother when I was only 12 years old. I am who I am because of many experiences, a lot of trauma and abuse, and a lot of love and guidance that I experienced in my life. You see? So we are because of the situation, the background, the upbringing, all of that, because of all of those factors. So interbeing, that's what it's saying about. So when we talk about reverence for life, to have compassion, to be aware of the nature of interbeing so that we take care of other people, animals, plants, and minerals. Does it make sense? Because they are in us. Taking care of them is taking care of us. You see, we as humans, we haven't taken good care of the earth. So what happens to the earth right now? Because we have exploited the earth. So what's happening to the earth right now, Gang? Yes, what kind of problems? Climate change. Climate change, climate crisis. Huh? Pollution, exactly, right? Because we have global warming. Exactly, all those are all the causes, all the terms for reflecting that's the planet is, the earth is because we are, right? Because the way we think, the way we speak, the way we behave, that is why the earth is that way, you see? Now for you, I would like to also share, we usually think about, like other people, plant minerals, like people would say that means that I need to be a vegetarian, which is great. That's why brothers and sisters, we are vegetarian, We want to protect the earth, the animals and all. But I must say that first of all, reverence for life, it means to have reverence for our own life. First and foremost, for our own life. How many of you have thought, I would rather die than to be alive? You can raise your hands. Yeah? I have thought of that so many times in my life. Since I was 9 years old, I would think I would rather die than be alive. Many times when I pass a bridge in Vietnam, in Saigon, there were many bridges. Every time I walked by or rode a bicycle by a bridge, I would see myself plunging into the river to take my own life since I was a child. That was a part of me. So as an adult, that became a habitual way of thinking. You know what I mean? When you think of something so many times, or you say something so many times, or you do something like again and again, we develop neural pathways in our brain. Neural pathways, you know. There's a saying, what fire together, wire together, okay? So all these different neurons, right? They fire, they connect together, yeah? And they become a network. And just every time we think the same way, we rehearse it, or we say something, I'm so stupid, you know, or you like get angry, you slap yourself, or, you know, I've met, there are young people who, you know, practice cutting, yeah, hurting ourselves. Every time when we do that, we rehearse that neural network, neural pathway, you see? And soon enough, it becomes automatic, a default. So as a teenager and as an adult, whenever I had, you know, I experienced severe stress or sad, you know, or depression, first thought I had was, if I just die, this will be gone. It will be okay. Even though sometimes I didn't really mean it, you know, I didn't really want to die, but it became a default. It came as a first thought for me. So reverence for life, my dear ones, first of all is to have reverence for our own life. Okay? To see this rose is our body. To be aware of our body. To hold, you know, our body. Let's do this exercise. Just identify a part of your body where you feel upset or when you feel depressed. There's pain in that area. Wherever it is, just close your eyes, put a hand on that part of your body. Okay? It could be your heart, it could be your abdomen, it could be your head. Wherever you feel it, just put your hands on that part. Close your eyes, visualize it, and say, I'm here for you. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you for holding my pain. Thank you for carrying this burden of my sadness, of my anger, of my loneliness. Okay? We'll breathe with one sound of the bell. It's okay. I'm here for you. I don't want to hurt you. Help me to take good care of you. Help me to not hurt you. We can do that You know, I never knew that. And I'm just so glad that you are learning these practices at your age. Because back then I didn't know anything like that. Have you heard of the term self-regulation? Self-regulation? Yeah? What does it mean to self-regulate for you, Kang? What does it mean to you? Just in your own understanding.
For me, it's taking a mental health check and kind of like calming myself to a place where I feel comfortable.
Wow, wonderful. To take a mental health check and to calm yourself, right? That's great. That's very deep understanding. Yeah. To self-regulate. Now, all of us, we do it automatically, but a lot of time we do it in a negative way. We cope with our stress, with our anxiety, with our depression by, by using some negative ways. How many of you try to escape the difficult feeling by playing games? Yeah, it's a way to escape, right? You just busy yourself with other, right? How many of you use social media for it to escape? Yeah, like that. Maybe you won't say. How many of you have tried drugs before? Okay, thank you for being honest. I know there are more than one. Okay, but like those are also ways that we self-regulate, right? If you feel down, you use an upper. You do a drugs or you do things that stimulate, get you high, have more energetic. If if you're really anxious, you're up there, then people use alcohol or movies to just kind of bring themselves down, right? That is also a way to self-regulate. But in a spiritual life, you learn to self-regulate in a more positive way, right? Like coming back to your breath. You see, as you come back to your breath, your mind is not free to think all sorts of things, but your mind comes back to your body, to your breath. Your mind calms down. And so then your body also calms down. You see that? Or you go on walking meditation. Right foot, left foot, you come back and you just calm down that storm of emotions. You see? So, or you sit down and breathe and then look deeply. So all of those ways that we do, actually that is to show reverence for life, for our own life. You see? So I learned that if I am safe to myself, usually we see ourselves as victims, you know what I mean? We think that people are out there to hurt us. But actually in the practice, I recognize that I am the one. Most of the time, my environment is safe. But I'm the one who is not safe to myself because I used to think so negatively about myself. You should just die, you stupid, you can't do anything, you don't belong here. Those are very harsh, cruel, painful thoughts and speech and behaviors that we do to ourselves. So to learn to be safe to ourselves, we also become safer to the world. Does it make sense, Kang? Yeah? Safe in myself, I feel safe in the world. Safe to myself, I am safe to the world. That is a way we practice. We self-regulate with mindfulness. Okay? Let us enjoy one sound of the bell. That's the first mindfulness training, reverence for life, for our own life, okay, first and foremost. The second mindfulness training is about true happiness. Who would rather be happy than be sad? Raise your hands. Are you sure? Are you sure? Check again. In your daily life, what you watch, through your eyes, what you listen with your ears, what you eat through your mouth, do you think the things that you consume through your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, touch, and thoughts, do you consume things that make you truly happy or things that make you sad or doubting yourself? What do you think? How many of you feel your consumption is not really feeding your happiness? Be honest. Raise your hands. Yeah, many of us, right? Yep. So we say that we'd rather be happy, and yet we feed ourselves a lot of things that are toxic, right? That cause us pain. So true happiness is also a practice. We are not like just simply a victim. Something happens, makes you happy, you laugh about it, you smile. Something makes you sad, you cry. That's just simply reflexive. No, true happiness is a practice, okay? And if we have authentic insight about true happiness, that is a practice that we can cultivate day by day, then we can be more proactive instead of just being simply a recipient, a passive recipient, yeah? So I want to talk a little bit about the child logic. Now, a few years ago, we had a teens retreat, and in my group, I was with the young teens, and we sat in a circle, and one young teen, he said, "My mother died of cancer recently, and I think that is my fault that my mom died." Wow, we were all very quiet. And then 2 more teenagers, and the third one, he said, "My father just committed suicide. And I think it's my fault that he committed suicide." You know what they said? Really touched me until today. And I don't recognize you. If you are here, my dear, can you look for me afterwards, today or tomorrow? Because I really want to check in with you. But that is what we call child logic. I observe this. As children, as teenagers, when bad things happen to us or to our family or to our loved ones, we actually feel that it's our fault. Because I'm bad, because I'm unlovable. That's why my dad left. That's why my parents are divorced, right? Yeah, because I wasn't there, or because it's my fault. That's why I got abused. So many of us will blame that. And we feel that because it's our fault, we feel a lot of shame, a lot of sadness, confusion, and shame, and we won't share with others, and we won't reach out for help. You see? And that is what we call child logic. Yeah? But we need to learn. We need to cultivate authentic insight in ourselves. Even when you are teenagers, however young you are, you can still have authentic insight if you make time to sit quietly, to be with yourself. Now, we learn from the little prince. The little prince asked the fox. When the fox said, "I cannot play with you," he said, "Why? What do I need to do?" And the fox said, "You have to tame me. apprivois moi, you have to tame me. And the little prince said, how do I do that? And the fox said, so to tame, it means to establish ties, okay? To establish ties. And he said like this. He told the little prince to come every day. Just at first to look at him, to look at the fox from a distance. And then every day to come a little closer. And the prince did that the next day. And the fox said, no, you have to come at the same time, because then I know to expect you. You know, if, for example, you come at 4 o'clock, then at 2 o'clock, I already start to anticipate your coming. And I'll be happy, you know. And when it's 4 o'clock, I know you'll be there. What does that sound to you? One of our practices that you, can you think of a practice that you do, that you show up at a certain time? Anybody? That's sitting meditation. Yeah, that's how I see it. You know, like when you wake up before you go to school, you wake up, whether you lie down on the bed or you sit up, just breathe and check in with your breathing, check in with your body. Like my sister said yesterday, hello, beautiful. You say that to yourself, you know, or hello, dear, I know you are there. Help me to take good care of you today. You see? So sitting meditation, whether even if you sit for just 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes, or when you feel sad, you sit down, that is to tame your sadness, to tame your anger, to tame your loneliness. You see? You look at it like, let's say, this flower. You look at it from afar, yeah, and you observe it, right? The color, the texture, the shape, how it looks like that. You look at it from afar. Then you come a little closer and closer, and you learn more details about it, right? Yeah, and you get to know it. That is to tame something, you know. And apprivoiser, actually this word reminds me of appris, like apprendre means to learn, and voiser means to look at and to learn, to understand it. To tame is to make sure you look at it, right? More and more closely, yeah? And then you learn about its details, intricacies, you understand it. And then, of course, you take care of it. Yeah, you water it, you put it, you give it enough sunlight, etc., etc. So, like, true happiness is a practice, and we learn to tame our emotion. So, being happy doesn't mean that you don't have sadness or you don't have anxiety or insecurity. But the true happiness comes from being able to tame, to get to know, to understand, to tame your sadness, your insecurity, your anger, your pain, your loneliness. Does it make sense, Kang? And it takes work. It takes a lot of patience. Like the little grenade, the fox say, it takes patience day by day. But we establish ties, we befriend each other, we get to know each other. Okay? So let us breathe with one sound of the bell. So I'd like you to turn to each other, pair up, just where you are, just turn to each other. Go ahead. Pair up where you are, okay? And if you don't have, you can move to the next person, awesome, okay? The little fox said, words often cause misunderstandings. So there are no needs for words, just let's practice this to tame apprivoiser, okay? To get to know each other, to befriend each other. Now see if you can look at the person in the eyes, okay? All in silence. Look at the person. It may feel very uncomfortable, okay? Okay, now maybe you notice 3 things about that person's hair. Just mentally note 3 things about that person's hair. Notice, okay? Now, 3 things about that person's eyes. You can make 3, join in with your friends. Yeah. Okay, so you look 3 things about that person's eyes. Okay. 3 things about that person's face. Just look at each other. What about the smile? Look at each other, I know it's uncomfortable. But hey, when you are attracted to somebody, you want to look at that person, right? But do you really see the person? When we have silence, we can really see the person. Yeah? Wow, it's very quiet. Now with this silence, this energy, feel the person's energy. Yeah? How are we feeling that energy from each other? Is it calm, peaceful? Or can you feel some nervousness? Is the body calm? Can you feel your own breathing? Can you feel the person's breathing? Or you can see the body breathing. Notice the person's hand, the person in front of you. Notice a few characteristics on that person's hand. So we do that, with ourselves too. Just day by day, little by little, we notice few things, certain things about our own body, certain parts of our body, and we feel the energy in those parts of our body. And we can be in silence. We can learn to be comfortable with our own body. Okay, you can turn around. This is a Chinese character for, anybody learn this and remember? Huh? Teeth? Chin? No, close but not close. Anybody? Yes, Kang? Huh? Human. Good. Represents human. This is the head, okay, or the mouth. This is the what? The body. This is an arm, and this is the legs. This whole thing, it stands for enough. Enough. Okay? Many of us, we suffer from feeling not enough. We don't have enough, we are not enough. And even if people are millionaires, even if they are so successful and so famous, they still suffer from this kind of insecurity that they are not good enough, that they are not enough. But this Chinese character tells us that if we have, a head, yeah, a body, an arm and 2 legs, we are enough. You see, even if this head is a little bigger or smaller, yeah, this body is short or this body is long, this arm is long, this arm is short, or the legs short or very long, it doesn't matter. You are still enough. You see that? That is, to me, a very deep teaching. To know that we are enough. And that moments when you feel you're not enough, you just come back to this truth that you still have your body and that they are still intact. It strikes me, like in our society, you look around, all of us, we have 2 arms and 2 legs. But there are places in the world, it's not like that. You walk out, many people are missing a limb. Many people don't have 2 arms and 2 legs, don't have 2 eyes that can see. You mean don't have a face that is like this, but it's disfigured, yeah, deformed because of childhood illness, accidents, or because of the war, yeah. But we still have this, and we take it for granted when we have it. But imagine if you lose an arm today or next week, your whole life is changed. And all you wish is that you have 2 arms. The things that we have, if we learn to be aware and to appreciate, that's true happiness right there. Okay? True happiness is to have that authentic insight. So I heard some of you said the Lulu is Sululu, right? Is that right? That, yeah, delusion is the solution. No, it's not. Authentic insight. Mm-hmm. Authentic insight is the solution, not the Lulu, okay? So you come back and you have this, you can generate this very deeply so. Let us enjoy one sound of the bell. I want to ask, who would rather be popular than beloved? Raise your hands. If you rather be popular than to be loved. Oh, nobody. Really? Who would rather have a lot of friends? Let's just like whatever kind of friends. Or would you rather have just a few friends, but they are authentic, they're real friends? Who would like real friends, even if they're just few? Oh, is that true? Who's on social media? Raise your hands. Oh, what contradiction, right? You see, you see, you see. We said that I'd rather be happy, and yet we feed ourselves with toxic materials. We said we'd rather be loved, right? And have real friends, and yet we invest most of our time on, like, you know, people that don't mean a whole lot to us, don't really water our good seeds, don't build our confidence, right? So we really have to check in with ourselves and say, I'm totally contradictory. I'm totally not doing the things that really mean to me. And how can I do it differently? So that's about true love. And we already learned a lot about it, is to tame. True love, again, it's not like, you know, the last teens retreat we had, a young woman, she said, at registration, you know, at the registration office, I saw this guy and my heart beat fast and I fell in love. Have you done that before? Love at first sight? Yeah, it does exist, but it ain't love. You know, it's something else. It's hormonal. Yeah? See, again, remember we learned about to tame, apprivoiser? It's to make a connection. It's to develop trust, right? To be friends, to become friends. And it takes a lot of patience. So we can fool ourselves, but make sure that you know you're fooling yourselves. You know, the worst thing is that when we fool ourselves and we believe it, that's the worst thing, because then you don't see a way out. But I, as a practitioner, my thoughts, you know, fool me all the time. I'll think this like something very, you know, noble or I'm very right, but you know, there's a silent voice in myself. That's mindfulness. That tells me you're just full of, you know what. So I do tell myself that, and it's a good friend. It's a good friend that we have inside us that can tell us, you know what, you're being contradictory right now. You're being superficial right now. You're being jealous right now. You're not being authentic right now. It's good. You don't say it in a harsh way, you know. Like I used to be so harsh to myself, like self-sabotaging, self-denigrating. But as I practice, I don't say negative things to myself. I never say I'm stupid. I never say those things anymore. I never say I just rather die anymore. I don't do that. I breathe, I embrace, and I say, I'm sorry, I don't mean that. Please help me to take better care of you. And day after day, year after year, now I don't give myself, you know, those kind of negativities anymore. But I am still very honest with myself. I can see my own contradiction, yeah? My own whatever that arises. I'm like, oh, come on, Sister D, you know better, yeah? And that is a good friend, to be a friend to ourselves, my dear. To be a friend, to develop true love with our own inner child. How many of you think you have an inner child in you? Oh, I'm so glad. You're very wise. Exactly. Even if you are 12 or 13 or 18, there's that inner child in you, you know. Maybe he or she or they are at 5 or 7 or 10, especially when that inner child was wounded in some ways. That inner child is always there, crying, wanting to be heard by you. So practice this practice of taming, you know, taming, apprivoiser, to come closer, to sit every day, just 5 minutes, to listen, to ask questions, to observe how this inner child manifests in your daily life, you know, by the way of thinking, the way of speaking, the way of behaving. You're like, I'm getting to know my inner child. You know, like the prince, the little prince gets to know the fox, or get to know, or to take care of the rose, okay? True love is the same thing. Sometimes you think, you know, am I a good person? You know, you may doubt yourself. Am I smart? Am I worthy of love? Take that not as something that wounds you. See that doubt, that question as a rose. Okay? Just look at it. Tame it. Befriend it. Sometimes, as young people, we doubt about our gender identity, right? Am I a girl? Am I a young woman? Or am I a man or boy? Am I binary? Am I non-binary? You know, am I gay? Am I lesbian? Am I queen? You know, we will have all sorts of questions about ourselves. And sometimes they can be so frightening, can be so unnerving, you know, to ourselves and to our friends and to our loved ones. So I see that if we just simply look at those questions, those doubts, those uncertainties as a flower, and just observe it from afar, just breathe, be in a stable posture and observe it, and come closer to it day by day. Get to know it, see it, learn about it, understand it, okay? And then, as you tame it, it also tames you. You develop the lien, a connection, a friendship with that which can cause you a lot of pain and sadness and insecurity. But now it's a friend, and you can hold it, be with it, be comfortable with it, and it is yours, a friend to you, not a menace anymore. And that is true love, my dear one. Okay? Okay. Let us breathe with one sound of the bell. In Vietnamese, there's an equivalent word for this, you know, this concept of apprivoiser, or to tame, to befriend. Okay. You remember the Chinese character for enough? Yeah? A head, a body, an arm, and two legs, okay? All right. It's the teaching on being a soulmate. Okay, what's your definition or understanding of a soulmate? Anybody? Please raise your hand. What's a soulmate to you? Yes, Kang? Someone who understands you, who really understands you. Okay, good. And loves you. Okay. What? Anything else? Yes, Kang? And respects you. That's good. And what else? Anything you wish for from a soulmate? Like a soulmate. Okay. What What is a soulmate to you?
Like someone that you get with later in life, and that you have a family with.
You have a family with that is there with you?
Not like someone random, like, but someone that you're connected with strongly.
Okay, somebody you connected strongly, connected. Somebody that makes you make you feel loved and not judged, right? No judgment. So with all the things we've been listening to, the authentic insight, who do you think that person is? Who that person can be? Who Kang? Dylan? Myself, yes. What about you, Kang? Ourselves. Anybody, you think that's yourself? Yes, raise your hands. You know what? If you know that, you got more than 80% of the game. I gave a consultation to this woman. I'm serious. She was like in her late 70s, or no, late 60s, early 70s. And she said this to me. She said, Sister D, I just met somebody and I'm really in love. I don't know if this relationship is beneficial or not beneficial. You know? And I looked at her and I thought, and I said to her in a kind of way, but I said, you know, you are already in your 70s. And if you are not yet your own soulmate, you know, you're still looking for somebody, when are you going to find that person? You see? So there are people out there that are a lot older than you, and they're still looking, and they still don't know that a soulmate is actually themselves. And this Chinese character says just that. Tri kỷ, soulmate. A tri kỷ, tri means to remember. Okay? To know. To take care of. Okay? To master. That's tri, T-R-I. And kỷ means oneself. Isn't that amazing? Yeah? A soulmate. It's you who remember yourself. You remember your body. Take good care of your body. Show respect to your body. Don't just throw your body out there. You know, when we talk about true love, one night stand, yeah, polyamory, yeah, all of that, casual sex, all that, we throw our body out there. We put ourselves in danger. Yeah? We don't respect. We don't protect ourselves. But a soulmate is who remembers oneself, one's body, who gets to know one's body, you know, take good care of it. You get to know your own thoughts and feelings, take good care of them, tame them, you know, like you tame a flower, a rose. To take care of that rose. That is your body. That is your inner child. That are your feelings and your thoughts, positive or negative, and you master them. That makes you a soulmate. See? And that brings true happiness. Yeah? That brings true love. And the fourth one is we use loving speech and deep listening to do just that. And you've been learning that, especially last night, right? We learned about loving speech and deep listening. And through guided meditation, you see that we practice that. And I find that when we practice that day by day, it really becomes a part of us. You know, like even when we say we invite the bell, we don't say we hit the bell or we strike the bell, but we say we invite the bell. You see? That's loving speech, so that we also direct that softness, that respect, that care to our own body, to ourselves, to have reverence for life. You see? I watched a documentary, and they interview this guy, on human trafficking, sex, and he was a pimp. And they interviewed him, and he said he would go to a crowded place, like a train station or a bus station, and he would scan the place and identify a young woman, sometimes a young man, standing alone. And he'll come up, like to that person, and he'll say, "Your eyes look beautiful." And if that young woman look at him and say, "Oh, thank you," he said, "I know I have no chance with her." Okay? And he said, "I'll scan again. I identify another young woman standing alone. I'll come up to her. I say the same thing. Your eyes look beautiful." But if she looks down and she says, "No, they don't," I know I got her. I got her. Mấy con hiểu không? You understand? Yeah? We learn in our daily life to have reverence, respect, and love for ourselves, our body, our mind, our experience, to use loving speech and deep listening, so that when somebody comes to us and says something, our response comes from that foundation of self-love, of a soulmate. It saves our life. It makes a big difference in our lives. I know too many young women in their they're only 16, 17s. They'll date guys who are jerks, who cheat on them, who talk, trash to them. And I say, "Why do you do that? Why do you stick with him?" And this young woman or these young women would say, "Well, I'm afraid that if I leave them, nobody would love me." Have you been in that situation, or have you heard some of your friends like that? Yeah, we do that. Or even as young men, we can also fall in relationships that are toxic, that are, painful. But because we feel we're not good enough, we're nobody, so we'll just cling on. You see what I mean? Or there are those of us also in interbeing. In the victim, there's also a perpetrator. Remember, in the black, there's a white. In the white, there's a black. We always think we're a victim. But as victims, we can also become perpetrators. There are those of us who are also hurt as children, neglected or abandoned. And when we grow up, we can also become abusers, right? We play, in a relationship, we would be, playing around, we will hurt the other person, which means we hurt ourselves as well. When you hurt somebody, you really hurt yourself. You hurt your own conscience, you hurt your own belief in true love. After a while, you're like, there's no such thing as true love. Love is just a game, and that hurts a lot. A person who doesn't believe in true love is somebody who hurts, who cannot ever have true happiness or true reverence for love or for life. You see? So really, when we learn to practice this, and the last one is nourishment and healing, and I've been sharing that, how to self-regulate in a positive way with mindfulness practices, with good friends, true friends, instead of consuming electronics, drugs, sex, or becoming workaholics. All those things are ways to escape, to be in denial. But that will not solve our problems, but just make our problems a lot more complicated, So, last thing about denial. You know what the acronym for denial? Anybody? What does it stand for? Denial. Anybody wants to try? Yes, go. Yay! Somebody remembers. Wonderful. Don't even know KM. I am lying. That's denial, okay? Don't even know I'm lying. And like I was sharing earlier, sometimes we tell lies, yeah, little white lies or much more serious. But most important is that we know that we are lying, that we are not being authentic to ourselves, okay? Because that is our saving grace. It helps us to find a better way, a way out. But if we don't even know we are lying to ourselves, then we have no way out. So, again, my dear ones, all these the 5 mindfulness trainings will help us to gain authentic insights, AI, in a good way, okay? To remain truly humans and to truly develop. What is the first mindfulness training? Can you remember? Don't look at the board. What's the first one? Reverence for life, okay? So the practice can help us to have reverence for life. For whom? For ourselves, first and foremost, okay? What's the second mindfulness training? True happiness. And true happiness comes from knowing that you are enough. Good. What about true love? How do you have true love? To be a soulmate to yourself, right? To tame the difficult thoughts and emotions, to befriend them, take good care of them, okay? To be a soulmate to them, okay? What's the fourth training?
Loving speech and deep listening.
To whom? To yourselves, my dear, okay? And in sitting, we do that, right? And walking too. When you walk, cool story about the little prince. So before he went to the Earth, planet Earth, he went to an asteroid and he met a merchant. And this merchant makes a living out of selling a pill. You know, if you take one pill once a week, you don't have to drink at all. And the merchant said it will save you 53 minutes for that week, because you don't have to take time, to go refill your water, drink, and go pee and all like that. So it saves you 53 minutes. And the little prince said to him, asked him, what do I do with those 53 minutes? And the merchant said, whatever you want. And you know what the little prince said? Me, if I have 53 minutes to do whatever I want, I will walk slowly, leisurely to a water fountain. Is that good? Yeah? Would you do that too? Maybe. Well, AI nowadays, they said, the robots can do everything for us. It can replace all of our manual work, all of that. So they argue, so that humans have time to do whatever we want. Have you heard that argument? Yeah? What do you think? Once AI takes over and do everything you need, even to clean your face and bring food to you and maybe even brush your teeth, and you don't even have to walk. What are you going to do with all that time that you have? Huh? Meditating. Okay. What else would you do, Gang? Realistically, you are? Sulk? You're depressed. Because you have nothing to do. Exactly. Yes, Kang? I would breathe. You see? So, geez, it sounds like a really, a pitch. Like, wow, then I have all the time and all the energy to do things that I like. But when you think deeply about it, what would you do? Okay, you will read books. Okay. So guess what? You can all do all those things right now and right here, right? Breathe, meditate, read books, and not electronic books, okay, Kang? Actual books. I love holding the real books, you see? So take time to walk, take time to drink, take time to enjoy nature, all those things that we already have right here and right now. And you don't have to wish for it, right? Or to even garden. Imagine if you don't have to do anything, you just sit there and then you just become gigantic like a balloon. You don't even need to move, and food will just come to your mouth. And maybe you don't even have to swallow. Oh my goodness. Okay, God. Thank you so much for your precious presence and for your attention. And let us enjoy breathing together as real humans. Touch the miracle of breathing. Touch the miracle of being truly alive. Okay? All this authentic insight, you know it. You have it in you. And I know you will forget it. When you go home, you go right back to your habits. Okay? And yet, something has awakened in you. This authentic insight, all these authentic insights are in you. And you can come back and tap, in them and just come back to these authentic insights so that you can truly be happy and experience true love in your life. Okay, they are there for you and we are here for you. And also this Sunday morning at 6:45, we will have a transmission of the 5 mindfulness trainings. And I would really encourage you to take at least 1 or 2. You can take all 5 trainings because interbeing. If you take 1 training and you practice well, you are practicing all 5, okay? Do take 1, at least 1 training, so that you remember how precious you are, how important you are, okay? So that you take good care of yourselves, because taking good care of yourselves is taking good care of your family now and in the future. It's taking good care of society, okay? So we'll have the forms available to you in this meditation hall and in the dining hall. Please read the description, the trainings more in detail. I just wanted to focus on certain points today, okay? But you can fill out the forms and then give them to your facilitators. The group that you met yesterday at 3:30, Dharma sharing group, give that form to your facilitator either today or tomorrow, yeah? And then you can take them on Sunday. Or if you already took them and you haven't practiced them, you can also renew them. Okay, Kakak? We are here for you. Thank you. Let us enjoy 3 sounds of the bell together. Thank you for being so attentive and being so engaged. Did you ever think you could sit for a talk for like an hour and a half?